Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Richard's Radio Adventures. My name is Richard, KB5JBV, and welcome to the video edition. I know we've done some tutorials and that kind of stuff, and I have a young gentleman helping me out that just passed his license exam, and he just passed his license exam, and he's helping me out over on our Discord server. Y'all make sure y'all go over and check that out. If you have any questions on how to get there, go check one of the social media feeds, and they will be able to help you out, or at least get you pointed in the right direction. So tonight I have Paul with me. We call him Paul NC right now, and he's kind of in charge of the Discord server. He has passed his amateur radio license test, and we are waiting for his license to show up. However, I think it showed up. I just couldn't see the picture very well. So how you doing this evening, Paul?
I got my AWRL paperwork just going to the post and take that and transmit.
Well, there you go. Well, we'll get you transmitting before it's over with. Anyway, the subject of this video, yeah, if y'all have come over to YouTube channel, y'all see that I've done a few tutorials on Pi-Star, DMR, that kind of stuff. And he and I were having kind of an in-depth discussion last night, and I didn't think about recording it for y'all's pleasure. So we're going to be sitting here a few minutes talking about it. And I thought I might as well go ahead and get y'all some video on this so that maybe it can help you out. That's what we're all about. Y'all know how I am. I'm crazy, and I've been around far too long, and your brain cells start to fossilize and all that good stuff. So anyway, Paul, welcome aboard, and I hope we have you on more often. he done got mic shy, y'all. He spent all night talking last night. Anyway, so as I was saying, Paul, before we went ahead and started the recording, we were talking last night about Pi-Star and the hotspots that use Pi-Star. There are some specialized hotspots that use software that was written for those particular hotspots, but the majority of the hotspots in use out there right now are Pi Zeros, Pi Stars, or crap, Raspberry Pi Zeros with a what do they call it? MMDVM hat on top, and they work actually pretty well. I have two of those, and I have one that has a dual. They call it a dual hat. It'll do VHF, UHF like the others will, but it does give you the advantage of being more versatile in some things that can help you keep from overloading the system and making it difficult for you to work. So I'm just going to take Paul around here, walk him around. Y'all welcome come with us. If it's not quite your cup of tea, that's okay. Go ahead and at 3 minutes, shut us off, but make sure you leave a donation somewhere because we could really use it. All right. So we were talking about the hardware last night, Paul, and I showed you the hardware, and or at least the hardware I have here. Low end, Chinese made most of the time. Pi Zeros in a black metal box with a not very good SD card in them. And we were talking at that point about if you do buy one of the low end ones, make sure that you change out the SD card. For those of you in our listening audience, the operating system for the Pi-Star hotspots are available over at pistar.uk. Pistar.uk. And you can go over and download an image and burn it to a card, and life is good. So, Paul, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Were you trying to say something?
I do have something to say.
Okay.
For anybody for looking for the link like Discord or anything he's talking about, I will put them down in the comment section for you.
That works absolutely fantastic. And if y'all want to watch more videos and you don't want to hang out over YouTube, they're available at our website. They're also available over on Discord. And we're starting to develop a pretty active community over there. So y'all come by and see us, because Paul put an invite and y'all be like in there and loving it. So last night we were talking about the hardware, and I failed to run any video on that. However, tonight we're in the dashboard for Pi-Star. Now, it does not come in these colors. I had to change the colors so that I could see it better. It really comes in a kind of an ugly orange background and that kind of stuff, but that kind of stuff is fixable. I'll let y'all know where that is when we get to it. So, this is the dashboard, and if everything's set up and running like it's supposed to, it will show gateway activity, which is people who have been heard on the particular hotspot you have, and it will show the time, the slot number they're on, their call sign, what talk group they're coming through on, and that kind of stuff. Now let me warn y'all before we go too much further. Unless you add some extra stuff, unless you actually manually activate a talk group on a temporary basis, it will not do what this particular hotspot is doing. And I probably should have hooked up number 2, which is my experimental one, which would have been more realistic to a brand new hotspot. But I'll point that out as we go. So where these hotspots are concerned, they can be set up to crossband or run D-Star, DMR, YSF, which actually it's kind of, well, I don't know. I may have to ask my buddy Sander about that. I think they may do straight YSF. Yeah, YSF in, YSF out. P25, and then cross mode YSF, cross mode DMR, POC-SAG, I have no idea what that is, and NXDN, that's another digital protocol. And where that comes in is, in the case of YSF cross and DMR cross down here, you can see that in this case, and I don't have that set up right now, not on this hotspot. I do have it set up on the dual hotspot, and when I'm able to do some video, I'll show you all that. But you can crossband from YSF to DMR or from DMR to YSF down here. Same way with, where's it at? Well, y'all get the point. Anyway, so when we get a little further in, we'll be going to configuration screen here in just a moment. But it's listening on this frequency. These frequencies are the radio frequency, and since we're doing simplex operation on this particular hotspot, the transmit and receive frequencies are the same. Now everybody keeps hiding their number. You know what? If you use my number, everybody's going to think you're me anyway. So I'm not too concerned at this point about that. And color codes, for those of y'all who don't know about color codes, I will try at the very least, on one of the audio podcasts to talk about color codes a little bit. Now, we were talking about time slots a while ago. The dual hotspot has 2, will operate on 2 time slots, which we can get into a deeper discussion about that. If you guys want to leave feedback and let me know about that, or that you're interested in that, we can talk about that more. And this is my everyday hotspot. Right now it is connected to Brandmeister, which is one of the DMR networks. And it looks like WA8YYE just keyed up on talk group 3148. For those of y'all who want to talk to people in Texas, that's pretty much us, North Texas. So let's go over to admin screen now that I've pretty much put y'all to sleep. 10 minutes worth anyway. If it will go. There we go. Alright, I need y'all to ignore this for a minute until I'm able to get back to it. You see you have the same stuff lit up over here that was on the dashboard. Same information, and you do have some other. If they're lit up green, that means that you're in a position to use those particular facilities. If we had the gateway working, the DMR gateway, allowing us to go to YSF, this would be green. Same way with, Same way with YSF gateway. If you were coming in YSF, you could set up to go out on DMR, that kind of stuff. It's a little more advanced for me to talk about at this point in this particular video, because I would like to keep it down under 30 minutes. So, once again down here, it will show the gateway activity. If I were to key up a radio, let me do that real quick. It would show my radio, the talk group it's set up for at the moment. It would show my signal in bit error rate, which is kind of important when you're using digital radios. And then it would show we're on slot 2 for this hotspot, because that's all it'll really do. And that's the great thing about video, because y'all get all the screw ups. Okay, so let's see. Of course, if you click power, it's going to take you to a screen where you can reboot or shut down. If we go back to admin, and there's stuff up there I need to talk about also, but if you click power, you can shut down. If you want to run an update, and for those of y'all that are new, if you leave your hotspot on 24 hours a day, you will automatically run an update in the middle of the night. That's the way it's currently set up. As far as upgrading and other things, that's a little more complex, and we will get to that in just probably a few minutes. So, and configuration. Now, if we click the configuration, and it decides not to be too terribly slow, what will end up happening is you'll end up at this screen. Now, you do need to come to this screen when you first get it, so that you can configure it for use. In most cases, on the single hotspots, you're going to click MMDVM host and Simplex Mode. Duplex mode, repeater thing, is kind of if you want to share, but if you're going to use it for yourself, Simplex Mode. In this case, we have it set up for DMR mode, and I may have to do some video to show y'all the experimental hotspot, which is actually set up more for D-Star. But you do that, and then you pick out your display type. Most of these have a display on them. I saw a guy today on the internet that was actually selling these little tin cans without a display, and he was wanting the same price as the commercial guys were getting for one with a little bitty display. So y'all shop around, get your best price, because they're all basically the same. I will warn you before we go any further, in the case of these little black jobs, you can find them on eBay, you can find them on Amazon, you can find them at commercial vendors in the U.S. If they are built outside of the U.S., they are probably built in China. And in that case, you need to make sure that you have a good quality SD card. And if you start having issues, receive issues, you may find that you have cold solder joints on the VHF, UHF antenna connector. That's why there's a company out there, and I'm trying not to advertise, but with a little bit of research, y'all can probably find them pretty easy. There is a company out there that is in California that does these hotspots. They're American made, they're good quality, even though you will get one of the crappy, no, actually there were good cards in the ones I got from them. So that was a non-commercial for y'all. The host name, Pi-Star, is the way it comes pre-configured. On my three, they say Pi-Star, Pi-Star 2, and Pi-Star 3, because I've changed the host names to avoid confusion. And I guess we're going to have to do a video on Brandmeister. Now, well, Brandmeister, TGIF, DMR Mark. Anyway, the networks, so that we can get that straightened out. But in the case of Brandmeister, if you were using it, you'd come down here, you've got the host name of the hotspot, your call sign, your DMR number, the frequency it's on, latitude and longitude. I didn't have a problem putting down city. Everybody knows where I am. They can look me up on QRZ. Country. Here, if they click on your call sign and you have this particular address on there, QRZ, it will take them to your page on QRZ, where they can get your information. If they're a member, they can get QSL information, that kind of stuff. And it does go through automatic if they click on it. This is actually the driver for the hat, which is the part that transmits, picks up from the radio and transmits to the, doggone it, to your access point, and then transmits back. You want to keep it private if you're doing a private. You want to keep it private, or people be in there using it. APRS host. This information will show up on APRS FI or one of the other APRS map deals. And let's see, this goes to server APRS2net. So this information will show up. There's a way to stop it. And right this minute, it eludes me. However, I guess you could just leave the latitude and longitude out. DMR configuration. We're using their master servers on DMR, or Brandmeister. And there's quite a few of them. There are 3 in the US. I think they eliminated 1. Yes, there were 4. And now there's 3. They eliminated 1 because they decided there wasn't enough traffic. Hotspot Security, this particular password is if you are on the Brandmeister network, you can go over to their website and it will register, it will show your hotspot under something called self-care. Y'all need to go dig around and check this stuff out. Let's see. Yeah, Brandmeister self-care. You want to put a secondary ID on there. For those of y'all who are not familiar with secondary IDs, you just like add an extra number, letter, or something like that on the end of your, in the case of call signs, your call sign. They do that in APRS. But also you can do it here with your DMR number. And that will, if you've got more than one and you're like on the Brandmeister network, if you want all 3 to show up over there so you can do what you need to do with them, they're going to have a separate SSID number. So keep that in mind. The color code you're using is 1. That's the default probably. You may want to change it so nobody else can get in. If that's the case, you'll have to change it on all the talk groups and stuff like that in your radio, so that you'll be able to communicate. Nobody knows what this is. I'm not real sure what that one is. Mobile GPS enabled. Right now I have it turned off. I was running one of my handhelds has GPS and will transmit GPS for the sake of APRS, but I do not have that activated at this time. I may reactivate it in the future. If you had an external GPS receiver or something you were pushing information off of, that information would go here. So, dashboard access is private, gateway is private, SSH is private, auto AP and UPnB. Well, we got the UPnP on because that needs to kind of be on if you want to be able to find it. And sometimes your network will assign an IP address, but when you first fire these things up, it generates its own mini network so that you can connect with it directly off of your Wi-Fi connector on your computer or whatever. But once you get the network configured, you get assigned an IP address. This is the IP address for my home network. There's another one down in there that is for my cell phone, the hotspot on my cell phone. And if all else fails when you first get it, you can go in and hook up to the network that says Pi-Star, and that will get you in also. I understand we're running through this quick, friends and neighbors, but I'm trying to get a lot of information in really fast. And we'll leave the video running after I do this overview, because I know Paul's going to have a bunch of questions, and I know he's sitting there writing them down right now because he's that way. He's an evil taskmaster, y'all. So this here is basically, you need to not mess with it until you're more familiar with the Pi-Star software. But like I told you, I changed the colors. You would do that in here. Simple. Put the numbers in and you change the color. If you are a Linux guy or don't have a problem learning Linux, there is a terminal, an SSH terminal built into it, so you can go in and change some stuff if you need to. The Dmr Gateway here, a lot of this stuff is set up in that configuration screen. There's a few things you might have to go in and tweak, but I would not advise doing it until you know a little bit more about the software. Now, real quick, Brandmeister API, because this one is on Brandmeister. Over at Brandmeister, you pick up an API key, and what that API key does is it will, let me switch screens real fast. All this right here is because of that API key. And it allows you to take non-static or temporary talk groups like this one here, or dynamic talk groups is what they call it, and allows you to make them static. And the reason I have this huge list here is that's just about everything I would want to listen to on Brandmeister, and they never drop out. These drop out after about 10 or 15 minutes of inactivity, the dynamic talk groups. But to make this happen, you have to have that Brandmeister API key. My computer just does not like to move fast, fellers. And I got to get to it. There we go. Brandmeister BM API. So you go over to Brandmeister, you find the place in self-care where you need to go. You ask it for an API key, it gives you the API key, you bring it over here, you paste it in. And then you're able to do all that stuff. So, we're not going to worry about D-Star repair, what is that, a D-Star Gateway, I think. The time server, MMDVM host, that kind of stuff. We're not going to worry about that right now. As I said, update is on a couple screens in here, and it will do it automatically at night if you leave it on all the time. Upgrade in this particular version of Pi-Star, which is 4.1.2, they added an upgrade option. Previous to that, when there was an upgrade, you had to flash a new image onto your SD card. At this point, it's my understanding, and I haven't actually tried it because there hasn't been a version change since I got these. But the way I understand it, when there is a version change from that, at this point, you are able to click on upgrade and it will go over and do a system upgrade. This is the most important part for me. I got 100 backups from the day I got it through all the stuff, especially on the experimental one. And this is pretty easy. All you have to do is really click and go. To download the ones, it'll ask you which one to upload to your computer, or oh, wait a minute, backwards. Download, it'll ask you where you want to put it. Here, it'll ask you where it is and which one you want. And it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple as far as that's concerned. So where did we not go is what I want to know. Let me go over here a minute. Wow, this one's getting kind of lengthy. So you can do the backup and restore. You can do a factory reset, all this stuff. You can run the power up and down. You can go over to admin screen. Is there more stuff over there? You can pull live logs. I'm sure there's more in there that I'm overlooking at this point. So there you go, guys. We're 26 minutes in, and I may very well have to edit anything past this into a second video. If it turns out we are going to have to do that, then y'all just look for, I'll mark it as part 2, and y'all can go ahead and carry on. So at this point, I'm going to let Paul back in on the game, because like I said, he's an evil taskmaster, and if I don't let him have his time, he's going to be mad. Oh yeah, one more thing before we go into part 2. You can click down here on this here. You get your copy of PyStar from here. The here is actually a link, even though he failed to change the color on it. But this is the gentleman who is the head of the team, because he tells me, and my former partner, that he has several guys that work on different parts of this particular operating system, but he is kind of the guy that manages the tiller on the ship, as it were. So now we're going to calm down a minute, and we're going to let our hair down a bit, because I was trying to get as much information in there as I could. And once again, I'll introduce to y'all Paul.